It's Thursday morning. My phone has been melting all night with messages and people. A lot of people saying, "Oh, put land in trust." Just be careful if you're going to put land in a trust, because you then don't own it and you lose the ability to borrow against it. We have some in a trust already, but if it was all in a trust, I wouldn't be able to do what I've done, because I have borrowed against the asset to buy more assets. I'm just waiting for the government to turn up now. Now they own 20% of the farm. Surely they should provide 20% of the labour and help us today. Look at that, it's even got Bluetooth. But yeah, these have just arrived to try. You put it on a PTO shaft, so like the muck spreader or something that doesn't have an hour clock, or the drainer, and you Bluetooth it to your phone. You have to put the battery in, I think.
Yeah, I've got to download the app first.
And then you can work out when it was last greased and stuff, because it gets forgotten. You're inside a shaft. My shaft.
My shafts. Oh, this is add manually. Oh god.
No, you need to put the serial number in the machine.
Serial number in.
You don't have to, but it makes sense. But we have only got one spreader.
You have to put the serial number in.
Yeah, no, but you can make it up.
There's a PTO shaft.
Oh, right.
What happens if you don't have a Walter Sheen PTO then?
You can just make it up. It doesn't matter.
No, it matters, doesn't it? Well, treble 5 then. Start search. 13 serial number.
Oh, right, okay then. Pointing over there, the low loader's over there. Rob's going, picking up a broken down JCB here of Adams. Yeah, Rob's going to go and put the low loader on and pick him up from the side of the road. Big job broke out. We're putting the black oats in that plastic hopper. So that Merlot's lifted the pallet up. They're in the cherry picker, so they're the right height. And then we're putting the empty bags in this bucket. So we've got, I don't know, 150 grand to fill a hopper. The value of machinery and farms is just crazy. Everyone always asks where that came from. That's where it came from. So we'll put that in there and it'll stop the mice breaking into the paper bags. It's like the Jenks wagon's doing a bit of a shuffle to get the weight on. John's just been loading with chips, so if they shake the box, lets it settle down a bit so that they can get more in. It's steaming a bit there now. Jamming, is it? Ta-da! Are you worried about mice? Oh, they're all running around. Look, there's a mouse, there's a mouse, there's a mouse. I've got it, I've got it! I've got the mouse, I've got the mouse! Simon's just been to pick some chip up. We're just tidying up there, but there's a few mice running around, so Oscar's been running off squealing. That kestrel has just seen a mouse running around. Rob's back from recovering the stranded JCB. I don't think you can see, if you look against the dark of the shed, it's raining. It's supposed to be dry for 14 days and it's raining. It's that time of year again where we park the combine up for winter. So John's brought it out of one shed and we're going to park it in here. We keep it in an open airy shed because it stops the rodents from chewing at it. We've just been filming with BBC for prep for dinner time, and then we're going to do a little bit more in a minute. Just on GB News as well. I know you want to play with your tractor, James, but I think it's time you got a real job and started saving up some money for this tax bill. They're editing a daytime piece and sending it off. Then we're going to film some more this afternoon. I'm going to put this header in the shed. Hope I can squeeze it in there. The parts arrived for this, but I missed it because I was doing an interview, so it's inside there now. Oh, look how worn that is there compared to that end. Not that it matters. Just put a new one of them in. That was cracked there. So, new bearings in it. All to go and grow some corn and lose more money. So the dog's been tidying the workshop.
What have you been doing, Will?
What's with the life vest?
Maisie washes her every night.
If the plane was to land on water, you've got a whistle on there as well, you know, and a flashing light. Right, he's put one of these on the muck spreader. We got it wrong at first, and it was asking for the serial number, but we decided to set it up in a different way. So the idea is when you use that, you can scan it, tell it when you've greased it, and then you know that stuff's getting greased properly. They're off Cramp, so they've asked us will we trial them for them. So if you want one, go to Cramp. Reminds me of was it The Big Bang Theory, where they were like, just put Bluetooth on it and people will buy it.
Too young to watch it, aren't
You remember The Big Bang Theory? Yeah. But what was the one where they were talking about? They said just add Bluetooth.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's got Bluetooth.
We add Bluetooth. Brilliant. Men love Bluetooth.
Oscar's greasing the Mini Merlot. I think it's only done about 10 hours. Hundreds and hundreds of people are saying to me, just put your land in a trust to avoid inheritance tax. We do have, Matt said this morning, but I'll just repeat myself anyway, even if it did. We do have some in a trust. The problem with putting something in a trust is you lose the ability to borrow against it because you don't really own it anymore. The trust owns it. So if you went to the bank and went, next door's up for sale, I want to raise £1 million. I haven't got a deposit, but I need to buy it because it's next door. Then because you've not got any collaterals to put down as equity to sort of like lever against because it's in a trust, you can't do that. Or if you have a bad year and you need to up your overdraft, the bank want to know that you've got some assets that they can grab if you don't pay the bill. So putting stuff in a trust restricts that. If this whole farm had been in a trust, there's no way I'd have been able to buy more land over the years. So just be very careful if someone comes out and goes, stick it in a trust, because you might think you're going to save some money down the line, but it might cost you a lot in the long run. I'm no tax expert, but I'm just saying, be wary. Also the 7-year rule. Yeah, you can pass it on, but there will be a tax bill if it's ever sold one day. And you've got to live 7 years. So there's ways around stuff, but why make it difficult? We're just trying to make a living and grow food for people. A bit of good news, the council have been and collected up the fly tipping. They never rang me because we could have loaded it with the Merlot for them, but I think they've brought their tractor and they've even put the bollards back, which is great because it's stuck. Well, it was great apart from Kate can't get in to do the soil sampling for the SFI. So what is it now?
KB soil sampling online then.
So for our SFI, we've got to do a test of
pH, pK and mag with organic matter within the last 5 years.
So she's been around every single field that's in SFI and some that aren't, so that we know what's going on. And how do people find you if they need it doing for their SFI?
I'll put my number in the comments or something, and it's KB Soil Sampling Line on Facebook.
There we go. I thought she was in the wrong field because I was like, you can't miss it. There's a massive pile of fly tipping. And didn't realise the council have sneaked out and moved it in the last sort of hour or so. So that landmark of fly tipping is now gone. So anyway, it's doing the right field now. Pretty much every single field that we farm needs doing. Just watch the mirror. You been buzzy?
Been good, got my new merch on.
I know, yeah. Buzzy, get it? Bit busy, buzzy.
Buzzy bees. We're just talking about angry honey.
Angry honey.
Agri?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you mean not mean agri rum? Agri gin.
Is that,
See it here.
is that
now.
what you're on now?
Turn around again. Let's have a look at yours.
Oh, no, still.
It's Halloween, isn't it?
It's Halloween.
You know. Must be cold air because the fan on the barley's turned on. Just quick birthday bumper while I'm here. Isaac Goff is 6. Jake Morrison is 8. William Salmon was 27. Birthday was on the 27th, and Victoria Phillips is on there. And we're now at 79,252. Happy birthday, everyone, on today's birthday bumper. So today I've spent most of it on Zoom meetings, BBC News, Sky News is tomorrow, GB News, lots of different interviews, press, everything. Thanks to the lads for just keeping stuff happening around the farm. Morgan, I think, saw that drill. Robin, David been chipping. John's been moving stuff around. We've got an audit, I think, tomorrow. Everything's ticking along, and it's still too wet to do any field work, luckily. But yeah, the last 2 days have just been taken up by budget-related stuff. There's a lot of things going around. Stuff happening in London. Talks of a strike. I think that'd probably work, to be fair. So yeah, next time you go shopping, it might be worth stocking your fridge, because we know how fragile the food supply chain can be. Yeah, lots of stuff I can't really mention actually as well, but hopefully it'll have some effect. Hopefully the government are watching and listening. Lots of people, like I say, have been saying put it in a trust, the 7-year rule. There is slight workarounds. None of them are as good as we need. I think one of the examples they used on the news, in fact I'll show you the news bit at the end, was, in fact that might not have made it into the edit, don't know. If you're a train driver, you don't own that train, it's worth millions of pounds. If you die, is it expected that the government would say, we want 20% of your train, or 20% of the carriages? Because going forward, was that train anywhere near efficient, is it? If it's bought and paid for, why do you want to buy another 20% again? You know, a lot of friends of mine, you know, they're struggling already because there's, you know, the position that they're in, they can't diversify as much as I have been urban fringe. There hasn't been the opportunities for them, and they're struggling just to pay bills as it is, without the threat of someone having a bereavement in the family and then suddenly having to find another 20%. It's just bonkers that something that, you know, the tools that we use to grow food are getting taxed. The kit on the yard, business rate relief, that's another thing that's been sneaked in. Well, and double cab pickups are now going to be taxed as well. Oh yeah, and they've also messed around with your historic BPS payments. There's 3 things come out yesterday. But like 2 fence and a combine, there's your £1 million gone straight away in your relief. The cost of running a farm is enormous. And, you know, someone said, oh, if you're not making money farming, why are you bothering? Well, I'm questioning that myself. The diversification is what keeps us going. That's what's allowed me to expand. That's what, you know, TikTok's been paying for my last 2 holidays. Not directly, but the income from TikTok has helped me go on holiday. I work 7 days a week, as do most farmers. Dairy farmers, you know, work long days as well. I don't want to get up and have a cow poo on my head at 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night, but they do it. If there was to be a tax break for farming, why not? You know, not a lot of people want to do the job because there isn't much perks in some ways. You know, you got the criticism from the public all the time as well. Anyway, I've just waffled for 3 minutes, 14 seconds. There's the bit we did for BBC. There's probably a longer bit on later. Might see you on Sky News tomorrow morning. If you made it this far, sorry about the rant. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to North West Today. The headlines this Thursday lunchtime. The region's farmers say the budget spells disaster for those in the North West wanting to keep family farms going through the generations.
We've all had enough as it is with low prices and weather patterns. And this is just the final nail. What is the point?
As families and businesses across the North West continue to look at how yesterday's budget will affect them, some of the region's farmers have lashed out, saying it spells disaster for them. The Chancellor put a cap on inheritance tax relief for farms. And so many say families won't be able to afford to pass on their farms now to the next generation. Judy Hobson's been getting reaction from one farmer on Merseyside.
Well, I'm standing in a field which is being grown as winter bird food, and it's looking great at the moment. One crop that is doing really well. But farmers today are digesting yesterday's budget and what it means for them. And many say they're angry about changes to inheritance tax. When a farmer dies and they pass their farm on, any assets over £1 million will be taxed now at around 20%. Now, the government says that's reasonable. It will only affect about a quarter of farms, but many farmers believe it's unsustainable. Well, I'm with farmer Ollie Harrison at the moment. So, Ollie, just tell us your reaction to the news.
Well, I can't afford to die now. Agricultural land has a value which I will never see. I'm just looking after it for my generation, just like my dad did, and I want to pass it on to the next generation. And these fields are used to produce food. They have a value, but it's only on paper. Whereas now, on my death, 20% of that value would need to be found by my children to pay the taxman just to carry on farming, or they'd have to sell 20% of it off, which would make the business even less sustainable. We aren't making any money anyway, so how are we going to pay the tax bill?
The government says that this won't affect most family farms. It's just the big landowners.
The government are just completely out of touch. They've put a slight exemption in for £1 million. That only really includes people that might have a small pony paddock, and they're fudging the figures to make it look like they're farming. An actual commercial farm has a value of about £3.5 million. Is the UK average, shall we say? They're going to end up with at least a £500,000 tax bill.
Do you think there are farms now that will go out of business?
They just won't bother. We've all had enough as it is with low prices and weather patterns, and this is just the final nail. What is the point?
Ollie Harrison, thank you very much indeed. Well, there is some good news for farming. The agricultural budget has stayed the same when there were fears it would be cut. But as you see, farmers across the region are concerned about the future.